Hey there YouTube, welcome back to another black powder update. I finished my next unit and in a few seconds we'll go down and I'll show you them, but I thought I'd do a little bit of blurb first. I've actually I've got a whole bunch of videos planned which will hopefully will be appearing throughout the week. Obviously there'll be this one. There'll also be a brigade overview because I've finished my first British Cavalry brigade. There's also a couple of painting videos on how I paint bay horses and white grey horses, and also at some point towards probably the later part of the week I'm going to do a haul video. I've got a whole bunch of stuff that I've collected up since the last time I made a video. So I thought I may as well wait for it all to come in and then do like a haul video. Also, as you can see, Bo's here, still hanging out in this room. My eternal painting buddy of the last 2 or 3 months. This is her favourite room still. Normally she kind of hangs around in a room for maybe a month at the longest, and then I'll change positions, but she seems to like this room a whole lot, and she's been in here for like at least a couple of months, and it looks like she's continuing to stay in here, which is a little bit of a hassle, but I can live with it. If I'm lucky, she'll stay on the back of the chair here, which is one of her favourite places to perch at the second, and she doesn't get in the way too badly. So without further ado, what are you going to do? Do you want to get down? Right, we'll go down to the working table, or the workbench rather, and we'll take a look at these guys. See you in a second. Hi there, welcome to the workbench, and as you can see, here we have the first lifeguards, and these guys, let's give you the blurb on them. Obviously, first lifeguards, first British Cavalry Brigade, and they're led by a Lieutenant Colonel S. Furnor. And now I'll give you a closer look at them. So these guys are Perrys, and I believe they're a mixture of galloping and charging positions. I basically went for my usual mixture of sets, so 1 command, 2 sabres raised and 1 sabres shouldered. And the reason why I always get 1 sabres shouldered is because you can actually use them to fill in these 3 spots here, and they kind of look a little bit more realistic, in my opinion, because sometimes I think if they're all like charging, then it's obvious that these guys at the back aren't going to engage the enemy as fast as these guys. So these guys can keep their sabres on their shoulders, maybe for safety perhaps, I don't know. But yeah, that's just the position I seem to like lately, and that's what I went for. Beautiful figures. The horses, yeah, they're nice. Some of them, overall I think they're pretty nice horses. Obviously they've got the saddles on, so you have to paint them along with the horses. So let's get going, shall we? I'll show you the first squadron. So here we go, one of the rear rank squadrons. We have, as I said, the sabre shouldered and the charging. Put them all on bay horses using the charred brown base coat, and like I can't remember if I mentioned it in my intro video, but I've actually got I'll have a couple of videos out this week that I've actually done some how I paint bay horses, and also how I paint white grey horses, with this particular horse being the actual subject. And the subject of the horse that I used in my bay horse painting video is actually this one here, which is actually a front rank command horse, but without saddlery, so that's particularly why I decided to choose it. So if you have any interest in seeing how I painted either this horse here or this horse here, then you can check it out on those two videos that are actually sitting on this video camera as I speak. They just need to be edited together and then put into a video and published. Also, like I think I mentioned again at the very start, these guys finish the brigade. So not only do they finish, but they also mark the milestone of actually finishing one of the parts of my project. Strangely enough, it seems that every part of it is all waiting for one unit to be completed to actually finish them. So you can imagine that over the next 3 or 4 weeks I'll be finishing up the project totally, as I slowly start finishing those particular units. So let's continue on. So next up we have the pseudonym command stand, which is something that I always do. Again, I always have the NCO figure that comes in a command group as the sub leader of a if you decide to spread it into a 3 squadron half unit. So here we have the NCO along with a saber-shouldered guy. I think it looks pretty cool. Again, obviously bay horses, because I've basically decided to put them all on bay horses. They've all got different markings. Some have got socks, some have got black socks, some have got white socks. I basically googled bay horses, bay horse markings, and copied a lot of those for the head markings as well, including the officer, who's actually got quite a unique horse face marking, which is one of the pictures that I found. So that is the NCO, or the pseudonym command section there. Then we have the 3rd rear squadron. Just basic basing for these boys this time, nothing super special. Again, we have one charged and one shouldered. Lovely figures. Again, a little bit annoying to paint the riders. I think I've mentioned in a lot of cavalry videos lately that where before I used to have trouble painting the horses, I seem to have more trouble painting the guys now. And the horses are like really easy. Almost like a sort of a reverse psychosis. But to tell the truth, I really don't mind painting cavalry units anymore. I'm sure if it was Hussars it'd be a different story, but as far as like normal cavalry go, it really doesn't faze me anymore. I tend to finish a unit in about a week, where before they used to take me like over a week, sometimes 2 weeks. But yeah, I think I've nailed down a way of doing cavalry now that seems to work quite well. I basically paint all the horses up to almost to completion, and that normally takes two days of painting sessions. I leave them at a point where everything's done on them apart from their silver work on their bridlery and the actual markings of the horse. And then I start doing the guys in bunches of, I think this time I went slightly different. Normally I do them in bunches of 4, but this time I did, I think I did a bunch of 4, a bunch of 2, and then 2 bunches of 3, and it seemed to work out quite well, because I always save, of course, the officer and the bugler to last. So let's go on to the next, start the front rank. Obviously these guys are the charging horses rather than the galloping. They are actually pretty easy to paint, these guys, I've got to admit, for cavalry. Their uniforms are pretty standard. The helmets are a little bit fiddly, but other than that, they really are not too difficult to paint. The saddlery on these guys is really easy. I think it's always the French cavalry that has the more elaborate saddlery, although I think light dragoons come pretty close to that, but as far as heavy cavalry goes, they seem to have pretty easy saddlery setups. Obviously, there's a couple of differences between all the units that I have. Some have the sheepskin coverings over here and over the saddle. These particular guys don't. They just have their blanket, their greatcoat, and then they have their little pouch at the back there. I can't remember what the name of it is. But it's basically like a pouch that you can keep stuff in, and of course their mess tins on the tops there. So yeah, that's the first of the front units. Now we go to the opposite side, and you can see this particular bay horse has got black markings, black socks, and he only has a minuscule bit of white marking, and he actually has some black marking on his head as well. And of course the one next to him has got 3 white socks and the sort of stripe style marking. So that is those. And now finally we have the command. And I found a really nice picture of this horse with a really unique face marking, and decided to copy it from my officer's horse. You can see that it kind of like it covers like almost the whole side of his front face, and then sort of curves slightly around the top of his eye, but the rest of it's brown. And I think it looks really cool actually. We've given him some low white socks. The officer, of course, always my favourite figures to paint. Pretty much uniform the same as the troops, really. This particular guy, he's got. I think he might have a thicker sort of camembert type belt, and he has a gold sabre scabbard and a gold sabre handle, where the normal troops have a steel handle and scabbard, and a single gold stripe across the shoulder, and of course the bugler, who in the pictures that I was using as my paint reference didn't actually have these shoulder boards on, the bird's nests, but I did them in the same style as the guards, because these guys are basically the same colours as the guards, really. You know, with the blue collars and the blue facings, and then of course this particular bugler is down as having a yellow collar, and he also has a all red plume and an all white pom-pom, and the officer has the standard red and white, and it's quite nice that the troopers are in their sort of campaign dress and not wearing those pom-poms on the sides of the helmets, but I presume they'd probably be the same sort of colour as the officers here, if they did. And of course different saddlery for the officer. He's got like almost like a sort of a waterproof covering over his saddlery. There's the bottom of his greatcoat, and he has a gold rim around the end of his bag, and of course I didn't actually put the writing on, but it'll basically be 1LG, so I did contemplate putting that on, but seemingly I don't think I've done it for the rest of them, so I thought, no, I'm not going to do it for this one either, so I decided to leave those blank, but there's no real contest on working out who these guys are. My second lifeguard are actually front rank, so again I'll have no worries in identifying between the first and the second, even though their uniforms are almost identical. I think the main difference is just something on the collar. I think the second lifeguards just have one stripe on their collar, and these guys have 2. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, that's the end of this particular unit. I could waffle on a little bit more, but I'm not going to. Keep it nice and short. I am planning on doing my my brigade overview fairly soon if I can build up the energy to carry everything into the other room. So that would be something nice to do. The very first unit to be completed for this project. And I'm definitely going to be catching you more throughout the week. Like I say, there's the 2 horse videos, and also depending on whether some stuff comes in, I think I'm expecting, well, there's 2 main things that I'd like to have in before I do a video, one of which only got posted yesterday, so that's probably not going to be here until Thursday, because for some reason stuff from Parry's seems to take its time to get to me. Like, I've had front rank stuff come, normally comes within 2 days, but I've had first rank stuff come literally almost the next day, almost. It's sort of posted late afternoon on one day, and it's here by the not the next day, but the day after, and that's kind of like the average, really. But for some reason, Parry's seem to take, on average, 4 days, sometimes 5, maybe even 6 or 7. So it's very strange. Anyway, I'm going to call it there. Had another small bunch of subscribers. I think I've had like 4 subscribers since my last video, which really surprises me. 3 of them are anonymous. One is, unfortunately, I forgot to write the name down. But obviously you know who you are, so thank you for subscribing. Hope you enjoyed the content. And I'll see you all in the next video. Till then, catch you later. Bye bye.